A BJP leader in Meghalaya, Bernard Marak, resigned from the party, saying that the new cattle trade rules, which make it harder to slaughter buffaloes for beef, hurt the sentiments of tribal people. A few days ago, Marak created a stir within the party when he said that if voted to power, the BJP will bring down the price of beef. Assembly polls in the state take place next year. This is seen as a political setback for the BJP, which has already made big roads into the northeast and was looking at more.
Whether you can slaughter or not slaughter, that's the state legislations which apply.
But despite this clarification from the central BJP, heads have begun to roll over the new regulation on cattle slaughter. Within days of announcing that if voted to power, the BJP will bring down beef prices in Meghalaya, the BJP leader from Garo Hills, Bernard Marak, has quit the party.
I have resigned from the party because I'm a Christian and I'm a Garo. What BJP is doing regarding beef is actually hurting the sentiments of our people. The land belongs to the tribals out here, and the law of the land prevails out here, which has to be respected by our state leaders and the central leaders.
Mr. Marak is not alone. A section of BJP leaders in the Garo Hills have even posted on social media that they will hold a beef festival to celebrate 3 years of the Modi government, something that hasn't gone down well with the party's state in charge.
How can slaughter of an animal be the ground to celebrate 3 years of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas? When the act itself is prevention of cruelty against animals, the Congress party can do this by cutting an animal in public to protest. The BJP will not.
But is the dissent over cattle slaughter in the BJP likely to spread to other northeastern states?
Except media, nobody has put this question. I represent a community, constituency where 30,000 people belongs to minority. Nobody has sent me even a text message what is happening.
At a time when the BJP was making inroads in the Congress stronghold, the beef politics has proved to be a major challenge. And it's time for the party to get into a damage control mode and prepare for the 2018 assembly polls. With Saidul Khan in Tura, in Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary, NDTV.
Well, is this something that will actually politically backfire on the BJP? Let me take that question straight across to Sambit Patra, the national spokesperson of the party. First, Sambit, is the BJP worried today that first you have one of your own senior leaders in Meghalaya quitting over these cattle trade rules? You have others in the northeast and other states, for example, in Nagaland, which is also going to see elections, who've also expressed reservations, people who are your allies who've expressed reservations about these rules.
No, we are not worried. Because what the Kerala High Court said yesterday is absolutely apt. The Kerala High Court said that most of the people who are protesting, most of the people who are opposing probably have not gone to the notification. And if you go to the notification, you would find that A, there is no impediment as far as the slaughter rules of the state is concerned. There is nowhere it is written in this notification that you cannot slaughter buffalo, you cannot slaughter the cow in the respective states if the rules in your state allows that. What this notification does is it only regulates the market. This notification allows the process of farm to fork. That means the traceability of the animal, which is to be bought by the slaughterhouse from the farmland, has to be maintained because the zoonotic diseases, etc., can be stretched.
But it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that because we know that most of that slaughter, what the notification has done is that it said that this slaughter cannot take place at these animal markets, and 80 to 90% of it is done there. So it just becomes much harder to undertake that buffalo slaughter now for farmers. That's a fact. It just makes it much harder for them, and that's what people are protesting about.
Nidhi, first I would request your producers, if they're listening to me, that there's a lot of echo in my voice, if they can correct that, number one. And number two, coming to your question, I'm hardly able to talk because of the great amount of echo, but still I will try to answer that. Number one, what this rule does is, it is a directive of the Supreme Court of India because regulation of the cattle market was extremely needed.
The Supreme Court didn't tell you to make slaughter more difficult. The Supreme Court order doesn't talk about making slaughter more difficult.
No, I have come with all the homework. I have come with the Supreme Court order also. I have come with what Mr. P. Chidambaram, the then head of the parliamentary committee, also said.
So why is your own party leader quitting?
The same things.
Why is your own party leader quitting in Meghalaya?
No, we'll inform them. No, there are a section in the media also, like you are trying to spread some kind of misinformation. So we will dispel that misinformation, rightly pointed out by the Kerala High Court that disinformation should not be spread. Please go to the notification. So if you try to spread some kind of misinformation,
There's
don't
no
worry about our
misinformation.
party, we will take
There's
care
no
of that.
misinformation.
And we will spread the information, we will spread the right information to them. Don't worry about our party. But as far as
Of
the
course,
issue
you should
and the
worry
facts
about
are
your
concerned,
party.
let me tell you
I mean,
the
come
facts.
on, Sambit. That's a you're just being sort of flippant about this. This is somebody who is one of your leaders in Meghalaya.
Don't worry about no.
What does that mean?
Please don't worry about our party, Nidhi. Nidhi,
Why is he
leave that
quit?
to
Why
us.
has he quit the
Thank
party?
you for your worry. No. It's okay. If someone has quit the party, we will take care of that. We will talk to that person. You don't worry, Nidhi. Thank you for your concern, but don't worry so much. We will take care of our party. We will win the election.
That is an
also in
incredible
Meghalaya.
answer.
Don't worry
Such
about that.
is the hubris and the
that is indeed an incredible answer. But what is more important for you?
What?
The more important
I'm asking
issue
you a
over here
political
is to address
question.
the fact.
Why is it that someone like Conrad Sangma wrote to the Prime Minister? 1 second. You have the National People's Party.
So what happens
Conrad
if you go to the
Sangma
Prime
wrote to
Minister?
the
It's a
Prime
democratic
Minister
party.
saying that the rules impose a
So
number
what
of
happened?
restrictions, that they would have a serious impact on the socio-cultural and economic milieu of millions of people. Okay, his party is a partner in your dispensation in Meghalaya. No, these are your allies. You can laugh it off.
Watch the NDTV must have got that misinformation. So we will.
That
we
is
will
such
give
a
the
load
correct
of.
information
I
out.
mean,
That is why-
honestly, that I can't believe that that is your defense. He writes to the Prime Minister based on misinformation.
Don't be annoyed.
Why are you
Yeah,
blaming
definitely. There are a
NDTV
number
for
of
your
people who have
rules?
not been informed. Now, Nidhi, he must have watched the bit of the news where you are all trying to spread misinformation. Let me correct
Sadanand,
I only 10 seconds.
No, 1 second,
Let me-
Sambit. I'm
let
sorry.
me give 10 let me
This
have
is not
10
a place for
seconds.
you to peddle your propaganda. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Sadanand.
So I
Oh,
actually
you can have your propaganda and I cannot state the facts out here.
No, you can't. You can't accuse NDTV of misleading BJP allies in the northeast. And why?
So allow me,
for them-
allow me to complete these sentences, at
One
least 5
moment.
sentences.
I have an
What
intervention
is the
from
issue with
Sadanand.
that?
I have an
I
intervention.
have a sort of slightly different take from your
with all due
from your.
respect, Sadanand ji, with all due respect, I just wanted to speak for 30 uninterrupted seconds.
After this,
that,
Sambit, thank you
Sadanand ji,
very much.
please intervene.
Sadanand has a point to make on the first point you raised, and after that, I'm coming back to you. Yes.
So, I have a slightly different take. I do think this could be politically damaging to the BJP. I don't think the most significant thing is Mr. Sangma resigning. I would say that there are 3 dangers.
Another
right?
leader resigning.
The first is that this
That's a
could
symbol,
hurt.
yeah.
This could hurt the rural economy very widely by interfering with the economics of owning cattle. That's actually something that affects many people, tens of millions of people across the country, including BJP voters. The second thing is that this really raises a question about the party's attitude towards Muslims. Because there are so many Muslims involved in leather and in meat and so on, the effects on livelihoods could be potentially quite catastrophic. So that's the second way in which it could affect the BJP, because many BJP supporters and voters have not signed up for this kind of blanket assault on the livelihood of communities. The third way, of course, is that it limits the geographical spread of the party potentially. If the BJP wants to make inroads into new areas in 2019, those new areas would include the south and the east and the northeast, which are places that frankly are not obsessed with the cow issue the way perhaps
North India
BJP, some are in the Hindi belt. So I'd say these are things that frankly the BJP and Mr. Patra should be concerned about as well-wishers of their own party.
Well, Sanjay Hazarika, how do you see this playing out in the northeast and politically? I mean, Sambit says that we shouldn't worry, and that the fact that their allies are upset about this in the northeast is because of false propaganda, because they saw a TV show. But this is something far more serious than that.
Well, I think at the beginning, I think one should say that that's rather a flippant way to address a coalition partner who believes very strongly about something like this. That's one thing. The other is that the point that Sadanand makes, I think, is very critical in the rural economy of the region. I am talking about the northeast. And it's not just, quote, minorities. The northeast is many minorities.
Yeah.
Some happen to be Muslims, others happen to be Christians. And what this act seeks to do, this law seeks to do, or proposed law, is basically cut at the very roots of the beliefs of people in their own customs, in their own traditions, in their own history. And that is something that is really unacceptable. I mean, we have Articles 14 and 15 of the Constitution. If anything should guide us, it should be the Constitution. These two articles on fundamental rights assert that you cannot be discriminated against by the state on any ground, that the state has a duty to provide equality to all its citizens, irrespective
You're saying in
of
the
race.
Northeast that this is an economic issue, this is
This
very
is
much
an
a
economic
cultural
issue. It is a traditional issue. It becomes a religious issue, but it's also an issue of culture. Are you accepting people who have followed a certain way of life for hundreds of years, or are you just disparaging them on the basis of their belief and this sort of dispatching them to second-class citizenship because you are not prepared to listen to their voices? I am sure that the government is going to listen.
No, I actually haven't. One moment.
Why do you always interrupt other people?
Yeah, no, I understand. And what Sanjay Hazarika says is very important.
I interrupt other people in NDTV only, and I do that because the TV has an agenda and I need to do that.
No, I'm sorry, Sambit. Either you apologize for that or please leave the program. I'm not going to accept this accusation of an agenda. Just because you're asked questions, I'm sorry, Sambit Patra, just because you are asked questions does not mean there is an agenda.
I'm very candid in stating.
Please
all
leave.
this. Allow me
You're
30
most
seconds
welcome to
rebut
leave.
what has been
I have
stated,
no
and this is
problem.
respectfully stated.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I would not
you
leave.
owe us an apology.
Either we would boycott your channel, I mean, we would come here and we would not leave. That is a
I
very
don't
rude way of
understand.
saying please
Are you
leave.
threatening
We
to
would not
boycott
leave.
us?
It is not that. No. You cannot say that you leave. How dare you say you leave?
I will say, it's my program. How dare you say that we have an agenda?
It's your program?
Yes.
It's your program?
Yes.
It's what is your program? Why do you invite BJP spokespersons and say it is
What
my
do you mean?
program?
What do you mean by
and
saying
you
that the
don't
channel
allow
has an
BJP
agenda
spokespersons
when you're
to
asked a
speak?
question? What do you mean
Yes,
by saying that the channel has an agenda?
Doesn't know that.
What?
You don't
No,
allow
then you're
30
welcome to
seconds
leave.
the BJP
Then you're welcome
spokesperson
to leave if you think it has an
uninterrupted.
agenda.
No,
That's
we
utter
will not
rubbish.
leave. We will expose the NDTV agenda rather than leaving.
All right, I'm
Why
done,
should I
Sambit.
leave? I should
I'm
expose
done.
you and your TV's agenda.
No, you can play to the gallery as much as you want, and very respectfully, I will not accept
No
that.
playing to the
If
galleries. It is
you
not
are.
that the
You
galleries
can
are
either
not
come
aware of what you all
here
are
and have a
doing.
respectful
The
debate, but I'm not
galleries are
getting into
aware
a
of what
tutu
you all are
mere with you.
doing.
I'm
And
not
that's
going
the
to get
reason
into
as
a
to why I
tutu. It's not worth
respectfully
it.
wanted 30 uninterrupted seconds.
Yes, and very
I
politely,
respectfully
two
demanded 30
panelists made a
seconds.
point, and we were coming
politely
back
said
to
I
you.
wanted 30 seconds.
Sambit,
I'm
and then
also
you say
here.
that there's an
You should
agenda.
also give
There's an
voice
agenda.
to other-
That is your
another
arrogance.
political
When I
party.
wanted to speak on facts, you
Yes,
did not
and-
allow me to speak on facts
No,
also.
and I was coming to you and you were saying
I very
agenda.
respectfully in the very beginning said that, allow me 30 uninterrupted seconds, I don't
You
want
take
anything
back
more
the
than
words that you
I've
said
always
and you
been
can
humble in
continue.
every
I'm
TV
sorry.
debates.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I won't take down. I
Then
will
please.
not take any words
No,
back.
thank you. You're
because
welcome
I
to
meant
leave.
every single
You're welcome
word.
to leave the show.
No, I would not leave.
I'm
I
sorry,
would sit
Sambit,
through
not
the
going to
show
accept it.
And expose the show throughout. I would expose the show throughout.
All right. Well, then I'm going to take a break, and I'm sorry. I'm not going to go to you. I'm going to go to the other spokesperson because I'm not going to accept that. You know, you cannot get away with this accusation that the channel has an agenda because we're asking you questions. And
Yes,
we're being
who does
fair
not
about
know
it.
that in the-
So
who
if
does
you
not know
want,
this in this
you're most
world?
welcome to go on the other channels,
Right.
which are glorified versions of Doordarshan.
Rightly
Please
said.
enjoy
No,
yourself.
Not
Mr.
at all.
Sarvanan,
We
I'm
would be
sorry.
here and we
Sorry,
would expose
Sambit.
the agenda here as well.
No,
Yes.
it's not about
Yeah.
exposing
Not
any
allowed
agenda.
to speak
This
for
is
30
Won't accept
seconds.
it.
See, you ask
All of
uncomfortable
you gang
questions.
up
Yeah,
against-
Mr.
No, all of
Sarvanan.
you gang up
Uncomfortable
against Bharatiya
questions.
Janata Party. No,
Yes,
all of
yes,
I'm
yes.
ready to answer every uncomfortable
Yeah.
question,
See,
sir. You ask
I'm
me
not going to
any
accept your
question, I'm ready
language.
to
I'm really
answer.
sorry, and
But
I'm
you
not
have
going to
give me
engage in an
30
argument with
uninterrupted
you.
seconds
It's
to
beneath
speak.
me. It's beneath me to engage in this argument with you. Mr. Sarvanan.
No, I respect you,
Did you-
but with all due respect,
No.
I demand
No, I'm
30
sorry,
uninterrupted
Sambit.
seconds.
Sorry.
You never allowed
Please.
that.
I
wanted
was
to speak
coming
on
back
facts.
to you. I was coming back to you, but to use that kind of language and to make that kind of an accusation, I'm sorry, is unacceptable. I will not accept
The
it.
accusation is absolutely correct.
Well, then please, you're welcome to leave and not come to NDTV.
No,
Why
it
do you
is
accept
not.
our
No, I would
invitation?
not. I would expose you till the end of this debate.
Enjoy yourself, Sambit. You're welcome to leave. I'm not continuing this debate with
You
you
draw
any
down-
longer.
you know-
Mr. Sarvanan, let me go to you instead. What the BJP is
Yes.
arguing is
Yeah.
that all of you have not actually read the fine print of what the cattle rules say, and you have not understood it, that states are free to frame their own rules, is what Mr. Jaitley says. that you are free to follow the cow slaughter and cattle slaughter rules in each state. So has the opposition misread this? Has everyone else misunderstood what these new cattle rules state?
No, it is not about misunderstanding, or it's not as though nobody has read the fine print at all. See, 2 judges of the Madras High Court has stayed these rules, stating that these rules violate the constitutional norms. The Kerala High Court judge is given an obiter, yes, by way of a passing reference, which does not have any value. The Madras High Court judge has given a written order. Any rookie lawyer would tell you which is more binding. When a judge says it is violating the constitutional principles, the BJP comes here and argues that we have not read the fine print. The judge has read the fine print. See, this is one point. The other aspect is that the ban is not about, see, they cannot say please don't eat beef. We are banning people eating beef. They cannot do that. That will be a total violation. So instead what they do is they put a virtual ban. What they do is the intended consequence of these rules is that they ensure that there will be no cattle available for slaughter. So what happens? Nobody is available, nobody can eat beef. So this is their agenda. The other agenda is the timing. We question the timing because it is a turbulent time. 3 years of BJP rule has gone. And people are asking uncomfortable questions. What happened to Achay Din? What happened to the jobs? What happened to the growth rate?
So you're
Today we are getting information
you're accusing
that
them
India is no more.
Okay, you're saying it's a diversionary tactic. Sharmishta Mukherjee, having said that, the Congress has
Yes,
also sort of
it is.
flirted with this beef politics in its own way. I mean, so many of the cow slaughter laws in this country in various states actually were done when the Congress was in power, and in Congress ruled states as well. So you kind of have one foot in the door, and now when it's convenient, you're finding a reason to attack the BJP.
It's one of the directive principles
No, it
of
is
our
not that way
constitution.
also.
One second, Mr. Sarwan.
Sir,
One
if you
moment,
can
I'll just get the
kindly
Congress in. I'll
let
just get the
me
Congress in,
answer that it is a directive principle of the constitution that cow slaughter in the long run should be banned. But what Congress has done is left it to the states. It is a decision of the state government whether they want to ban the cow slaughter or not. In this particular notification, because this is the BJP government is trying to bring it through backdoor. It is not the prerogative of the central government to ask the state to ban. They can't do it. So that's why they have brought it under the measure of animal cruelty prevention to animal cruelty and through the Ministry of Environment, because the cattle regulating market is also under the state government. The cow slaughter or any bovine slaughter, whether it is to be done or not, that is a decision of the state government. So the BJP is also trying to hit out at the federal structure. Secondly, I would like to take another point from Sanjay. What he was talking about, that the BJP is not looking at the finer socio-cultural nuances. But that is nothing surprising. If you see the BJP agenda, that they are not bothered about these finer socio-cultural nuances of different areas, of different minorities, of different the Dalits, because what they want to do, that India has a diverse culture. We talk about the multicolored society of India. They just want to wipe the multicolor out and just paint it in saffron in one color. So they just want to put one agenda which is set in in Nagpur, and they want to impose that whole agenda on the whole of India.
Sadanand, the point that you raised about the economic consequences of this is actually perhaps the most important aspect of this story. How do you think all of this plays out even around the world? When cow politics, for want of a better word, becomes sort of national headlines in this country day after day, whether it is about cow vigilante groups or about new cattle rules, beef festivals, protests. What is this telling you about whether or not we're sort of losing sight of what the real issues really are in this country?
Yeah, I think it sort of certainly is distracting. It certainly doesn't send the best kind of message. But I want to bring this back to the economic question, because this is actually much beyond the Northeast or Kerala or the way it's, or just beef. We've seen beef
not just a
restrictions.
cultural issue.
We've seen beef restrictions in Haryana and Maharashtra and so on. Here, what you're doing is, by including buffaloes, for instance, you are interfering with the basic economics of many millions of farms across the country. You go to Eastern Uttar Pradesh, go anywhere in the Hindi heartland, you'd go to find a small farmer who'll have one buffalo. Now, what has worked so far? That when that buffalo reaches a certain age, is not able to provide milk, for instance, the buffalo is sent to the butcher. The farmer earns some money and he invests that money in buying another buffalo or something else. So what you're doing is you're interfering with the economics of many millions of ordinary people of all faiths in all parts of the country.
So this is not
just some northeast or Kerala issue. This is a much larger Indian issue, which is why I suspect that the BJP will be forced to walk it back, because they would be utterly stupid to persist with this, particularly in its current form, because it includes buffaloes.
Well, there is a possibility, and I'll have to leave it there on this particular subject. There is a possibility, and I think we've had a hint from Mr. Venkaiah Naidu as well, that they may exclude buffaloes from that list eventually, and they're waiting for the Prime Minister to come back perhaps then to take a final call on that. Thank you to all of you for joining us.